This guy, I'm telling you, I know this cat a lot better than I did before. He's a people person. He talks to people. You have to keep the lines open. The stupidest thing the left does, and this dinner is a perfect example of it, is having this attitude toward the right that we won't even break bread with you. Yeah. We are so far above you that we won't even sit down at the same table.
No, I mean, look.
That is their attitude, and that makes me sick too.
Yes, Bill, hey, look at me. Look, if you're watching this video, subscribe, okay? But you are right. I'm not going to sit down with a fascist, with someone that is destroying my country for his own selfish gain. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to sit down with a racist who doesn't care about my existence. Hey, thank you for clicking this video. Just to let you know, this is a clip from my previous live stream that I did. Just want to let you know I go live every Sunday through Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. And if you don't know what time that is, go ahead and Google that so you can meet me and have a conversation on my next stream. Once again, I appreciate you clicking this video. Now let's enjoy the video. When it comes to people like Bill Maher, okay, it confuses me because you cannot, in this political environment today, in 2025, okay, maybe you could have got away with this, back in the olden days, back in the 90s, maybe, I don't know. I was just a little kid back then, but you cannot get any kudo points for sitting on a fence. You can't be that guy, especially when you have a political channel like Bill Maher has that's been going on for years. You can't sit on a fence. No. When it comes to what Trump is doing, for example, literally kidnapping people. Reading people's rights, telling them who they are, why they picking them up. None of this. Not giving them any sort of due process. Just saying screw their constitutional rights. Screw it all. And you expect me to sit here and try to be neutral. Try to be unbiased and try to figure out the good things that can be seen in a situation like that. There is no good things about that. Not even a little bit. So how am I, as a person with integrity, with principles, how am I supposed to see that and be yeah, I can see that. I can see why he's doing that. No, I'm sorry. So when people like Bill Maher opens their mouths and says all this ridiculous things, no. People like myself who sees Trump as a destructive force to democracy, I am not going to sit here and try to find good things to say about him. Try to find nice things to agree with. No, I'm not agreeing with anything coming from a hateful, old ass, dumbass. No, I'm sorry. I'm not that kind of person. I don't care if tomorrow he, gives everybody $1,000 check. Everybody. I'm going to take that check. Trust me. Yes, I am. But he's still going to be a fascist to me. He's still going to be a little dictator. Little D dictator, which that sounds horrible. But he's still going to be the piece of that I think he is today. You don't get no good jobs from me. You don't get a thumbs up. No, I don't care about that. I'm not trying to be your friend. Especially when you're destroying the country that I live in. I'm sorry. That's not how that works. Now, with Brian Taylor Cohen, okay, let's get this out the way. I've been watching him for the past year, on and off. I believe he's liberal, not a progressive. At least I haven't seen that or heard that from him. And when he's having this interview with Bill Maher, which once again, we're not going to watch the whole thing. So go ahead and watch the whole thing if you want to. But when he's having these political conversations with Bill Maher, he's being gentle. He's trying to be nice. And to me, that is not the way to go when you're talking to people like Bill. You need to be assertive. And all this both sides that Bill tries to do, you need to nip that in the butt right there. Don't be like, oh yeah, you're right. Oh yeah. Like, no. That's literally why Democrats lost in the first place. Trying to be nice. No, you can't do that when you're in the face of a fascist, of a racist, of an idiot like Donald Trump. Don't give him no wiggle room. But no, that's not how we're doing it. But you know, Mr. Bryan, he did an all right job. So let's go ahead and switch over here. I got my notes at 30 minutes on the dot. And let's see how this conversation goes.
I put up my 56
I
insult.
was reading that.
You know, I got him to sign that. This is my favorite possession.
Yeah.
56 horrible things he said about me, obviously, which were in. I obviously had said something about him that. So like, no one needs to lecture me about Donald Trump, but and well before I did the horrible dinner, which changed the world completely.
I'm curious about that. About the dinner. Do you regret any part of it? Do you regret doing it? Do you regret the
Why would
before or after? I'm just curious, like the way that all of it played out. How do you think about it? Do you think about it
the
as
people who hated me from before the dinner, the 10% who live on blue sky, just found another thing to hate me for. But their hatred looks ever stupider as time goes by, because their big fear was that, oh my God, I was going to be seduced. And of course, I went right back to tearing him a new asshole every week. If you don't watch my show, that's fine. You don't have to. I don't hate anybody or dislike anybody who doesn't watch it. But then you can't comment, because if you have been watching it, you see that I didn't change one bit. So there was no argument there except your emotions, except, he went to see The Bad Man. Like, yes, I'm thrilled. First of all, you're invited to the White House for a private dinner with the president. Really? You don't go? Well, then you're a fucking idiot, in my view, no matter who the president is.
Okay. That right there. Bryan should have stepped in and said, hey, I'm sorry. But if someone like myself, which I'm not sure if Bryan has went this far, but if I call the sitting president, which doesn't have to be Trump, it could be anybody else acting in this manner, if you're, in my eyes, a fascist, a racist, and an opportunist, and an idiot, why do I need to have dinner with you? Why do I need to be in your because you're the president? Because you're the president? Why should I care? You don't care about my existence, so why do I need to sit here and kiss the ground that you walk on because you're president? Whoa, don't think so. I'm sorry. Bill, hey, I got principles. I got integrity. I have respect for myself. So I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and try to have dinner to get to know the fascist, to get to know a little better of this racist. That's not going to fly with me. You're a coward. That's why you did it. You're an opportunist and you don't want to jeopardize that. So you sit on the fence. That's all you're good for. But I digress. Let's continue.
2, he has all the power. So maybe you should talk to him. And then part 2, okay, I had to make a report on it once people knew I went. Should I lie? No, that was not an option. Never has been for me. That's my bond with my audience. So I told him the truth that, yeah, that guy who lives there is different than the one you see on TV. And I kept saying over and over in the piece, I'm just reporting. You make your decisions. You do what you do. I'm just saying I went down into the mine, and I'm telling you what's down there that you don't know. Or maybe you do, but like to just be like, oh no, how it's just emotional.
No, look, if I had the opportunity, if I had the opportunity to talk to Trump, I'd be happy. I try to interview Republican officials, and the farthest right Republican that I've ever gotten on was like Adam Kinzinger. To give you an idea, and you don't really have to in this media environment because it's so bifurcated, and so you have all of these right-wing outlets. You've spoken to, people have come here and you've spoken to them. There's no need for people on opposite ends of the political spectrum to go on opposing viewpoint shows anymore because there's so many. Like, why deal with tough questions when you can just?
And you're right, HP. I think he is a little intimidated by someone like Bill Maher, so he's trying to come off like really agreeable, and he doesn't want to really be extremely aggressive because like every other word that comes out of Bill's mouth, you can like find an argument for. But when Brian said that he would take the time to have a sit down with Trump, which later on in the interview or this conversation, he says like it needs to be public though, like so people can see and verify what they're talking about. Oh man, I do need a cough drop, but I'm not saying that people shouldn't take the opportunity to speak to Trump, but only if they're ready and equipped to handle those kind of conversations. I don't want someone like Bill Maher who's not going to be confrontational. He's not going to say the things that need to be said to this idiot, to this racist, to this fascist. He's not going to do that. I mean, you see what happened to Stephen Colbert, right? Bill doesn't want to be next. So he's not going to ruffle Trump's feathers, his orange feathers. He's not going to do that. So I don't want anyone to go to Trump just to, kick it and be like, oh, you're being crazy out there, you crazy person, you. No. If you send someone like a Mark Lamont Hill, send somebody like Mehdi Hassan. Do you think Mehdi's going to sit there and just be like, drinking his champagne and just laughing and kicking it, got his feet up on a table with Trump and just chilling? No. But I guarantee you that happened with Bill. I'm just saying.
Get pats on the head.
But that's what my show is every week.
Right.
My real time show is like.
But in this new media environment, there's
right.
very few shows that do that. I mean, I reach out to Matt Gaetz and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Their offices will never respond. Yeah.
Well, you gotta reach out again. You know what? I'll call them all for you if you want. I will tell them to go on your show, and they will do it. Because that's one thing that is very different from the left and the right. That surprises me because usually the right-wingers will go anywhere. I just had that guy on, I loved him, Wesley Hunt, congressman, African-American congressman from Texas, Trump's biggest supporter.
Yeah.
But it's so sincere.
Well, that's a
with Paul Begala. Okay, that's America. And by the way, loved it that they bonded. That's what we got to do.
I mean, look, I do debates. Fox LA anchor Alex Michelson, who I think
I love him.
He hosts debates between me and Tommy Lahren. I think we've been on like 5 times together already.
Oh Jesus, that's like Muhammad Ali fighting a 7-year-old blind girl. Why don't you fight somebody your own size? Tommy? I mean, Jesus.
I was on with on Piers Morgan's show today, actually, and went on with Ted Cruz's co-host, Ben Ferguson. So, look, anytime I have the opportunity to talk to folks on the other side, but I can also see at the same time why people on the other side of the aisle would say, like, why engage in this when it can just be easier and not? And in this digital media environment, you really don't have to.
First of all, they should be giving me a fucking medal. All this talk about how Trump is only surrounded by ass kissers. Okay, but then when you have someone who's decidedly not MAGA, go there and speak to his face things he may never hear.
All right, so he's about to tell you what he said to to Donald Trump, okay? Just try to imagine what furious things he said to Trump. the speaking truth to power. Like literally in that moment. Listen to what he's going to tell you, what he said to Donald Trump. And when I heard this for the first time, I laughed. I was at work in the warehouse, had my headphones on, and I LOL'd out loud when I heard it. Take a listen.
I said things to here. They should be carrying me off on their shoulders for saying to him in private, yes.
Yeah.
But he did. I reported it.
In private, so we can't verify. That's number one. They should be carrying me on their shoulders because I said some things to him in private. Man, first off, that's the hoest shit I done ever heard. Okay, you can't be all gangster with it, and then you said, I told him to his face in private. Bro, get out of here with that. But okay, he's about to tell us these amazing things, these truth to power statements he told to Trump. Let's listen.
He didn't object to it, and he didn't object at the time.
Well, so
things like, why are you scaring people? You're scaring people. Why do you want to do that to your citizens? What you did with Obama's birth certificate was low.
What? That's what you told him? To Trump, literally disobeying court orders, disappearing people, dropping bombs on Iran, not stopping any wars. And you told him, why are you scaring your citizens? Why are you Obama's citizenship, his birth certificate? You brought that up? That's the big thing that you told him? Holy Bill, what? Oh my God. Bill, stop. Quit. You're fired. You're done. Done. I'm sorry. You're done. Get out of here.
2020 election. You didn't win that. I'm not saying this is going to change the world. I'm saying like your shot doing nothing, not engaging, has zero chance.
Yeah.
Mine, this guy, I'm telling you, I know this cat a lot better than I did before. He's a people person. He talks to people. You have to keep the lines open. The stupidest thing the left does, and this dinner is a perfect example of it, is having this attitude toward the right that we won't even break bread with you. Yeah. We are so far above you that we won't even sit down at the same table with you.
Look,
that is their attitude, and that makes me sick too.
Yes, Bill. Hey, look at me. Look, if you're watching this video, subscribe, okay? But you are right. I'm not going to sit down with a fascist, with someone that is destroying my country for his own selfish gain. That's not going to happen. I'm not going to sit down with a racist who doesn't care about my existence. That's not how that works. I love myself. I have self-respect. I'm not going to do that. And the best way to show to someone like a Donald Trump who, like you say, loves talking to people, is not showing up. That speaks volumes. Because any opportunist coward like yourself will take that opportunity. But if someone say, you know what? I'm not showing up. I'm not going to have this dinner with you. That speaks volumes. No? Maybe? So come on, man. If you have any integrity, maybe you will understand what I'm talking about. But maybe this is I might as well be speaking Korean to you because you have no integrity. You have no principles. So anything that I'm saying is just going over your head right now. Please listen and subscribe. Become a member.
I'm glad I break bread, and what makes them hate the left so much. They think that they're deplorables. We're deplorables, and you won't even sit down to dinner with us. Well, good luck. See how far that gets you.
Well, right now, look, we're in a position where Democrats lost the popular vote. They lost the electoral vote, and so we no longer have the luxury of excommunicating people from the party who are problematic. And so
That's that BS right there. That's that bullshit right there. Right there, man. Brian, what you doing, bro? What you doing oh, well, Democrats, they lost the popular vote, they lost the election, blah blah. So what the hell does that got to do with anything? What are you talking about? No, man, I'm not gonna continue to repeat the same thing that I done said, but principles, integrity, and self-respect goes a long way. I'm sorry. I can't compromise my self-respect just to have a dinner with the president. No, I'm sorry, man. Maybe next time with some other president. I don't know. But hey, Brian, see, that's that liberal-ish right there. That's that liberal talking. I don't know if he's a progressive. I don't think he is. I didn't get that vibe from him. But that's that BS right there. Come on, man.
And so that, I think that's...
Or not talking to the other party.
Well, the
who
hard
has
part
all
is,
the power.
Anybody who has any semblance of an ego, myself included, wants to see, like you see Trump engage in all this bullshit, the Epstein thing, for example, whatever it may be, the pro-peace, and then he bombs Iran, says going to release the Epstein files, doesn't do it. And you have folks on the left who say, who want to be like, you fucking idiot, I told you so. Like, how did you not see this was going to come, that this was going to happen? How did you not see that when he said he's going to lower costs for people, that he doesn't give a shit about people? He's promised cheaper healthcare before, he never delivered it, promised infrastructure before, never delivered it, promised a jobs boom and manufacturing renaissance. This guy always plays the same populist shtick and he never delivers. And so how do you not get it? But I think the way that I have to check myself often now, because the goal is persuasion, right? Like if you work in politics, the only way you win, the only way you exercise power is if you actually get in office so that you can enact your agenda. That's it. Otherwise, you're just chirping at people on Twitter. And like, while that may be fun, not that fun if you're watching the other side enact their agenda and you have ICE agents on the street.
You're
so
right.
I had to check myself often, and instead of those moments where I want to say like, you fucking idiot, how did you?
Okay, please, Brian, shh, be quiet. Be quiet, man. Damn. No. Now, once again, like I said plenty of times in plenty of videos, when you're talking to just the average Joe, someone at your work or at the gym or, a family member, you may not have to go so hard. You know what I'm saying? Because those are the people who 9 times out of 10, well, depending on where you live, but it's a good chance they're misinformed. They're not into politics like you and I. They don't know the ins and outs and read articles every day. No. So they just see what they see on TV and that's what they register. You don't have to go so hard on them. I get that. Speak to them. Get to know who they really are before you start shoving politics down their throat. I get that. But when you're talking to Donald Trump, when you're talking to Marjorie Taylor Greene, when you're talking to Charlie Kirk, or if you're talking to Candace Owens or Ben Shapiro, their gloves are off. There's no rules. Gloves are off. In my opinion, which once again, hey, call me crazy, call me whatever you want, but I'm not going to respect people like that who are purposely using politics to divide and marginalize groups of people. That's a no-go for me. You're not going to get respect from me. Try that with this guy, but you ain't getting that from me. I'm sorry. Because you're causing actual harm in an area I have to live with, that my kids have to grow up with, and you're causing such ridiculous division. It's only making things worse. And that's not right. So you don't get respect from me. We can talk, but I'm talking at you. We ain't talking together. And we ain't having no beers after. I'm sorry. That's not how that works. But, like I said, when you're talking to regular people, just Joe Schmo from work, hey, yeah, have that beer with them. Talk to them, educate them. But like, hey, I watched this podcast, why I hate politics. Give it a listen, just blah, blah, blah. Something simple. But come on, man. Hey, Brian, man, get your together, bro. Come on, man. Damn. All right. Last portion here, man. Last portion. And I think Brian does a nice little comeback here. I'm not sure. Damn.
Going to that dinner.
Yeah.
Not in the least, because I now have standing with the half hour.
That's how to win.
Yeah.
And it quells some of that turmoil that I think is brewing right now.
I don't disagree with that at all. I'm just saying, apropos to your question you asked a half hour ago or whenever it was about do I regret going to that dinner?
Yeah.
Not in the least, because I now have standing with the Republicans in a way you don't, which is why they don't do your show and they do mine. Because, and I've said it a couple.
Hey, Doug on the left, be safe. Tornadoes are never fun. So yeah, do what you got to do to be safe. You know, go in a shelter, or I don't know if you know, being under a table works, but be safe. You know, check in if you're in the Discord. You know, check in. Doug on the left, be safe.
A couple of times on my show already. I said, you know what? I went to the White House. A lot of people on the left said you shouldn't even do that. And then I told the truth.
Oh.
And they really came after me.
Oh.
Remember I had dinner with Hitler, according to Larry David? I mean, come on, man. Once you play the Hitler card, you lost. But okay. So what I can say to Republicans and have said to them is, you know what? I told the truth. I didn't shrink from that, and I took the heat from the left. Now I want you to do the same thing. You do it. You take the heat from the right because I want you to be honest. Do you really think it's cool to talk about running for a third term? Because I know you don't. And I have standing to say that to them because I already got my beating from the left about me telling the truth.
Yeah.
That's a really important weapon to have in your pocket.
If I agree.
So this is where Brian kind of redeems himself a little bit. I mean, this is probably the most pushback he gave throughout this entire interview. And it's still a little lukewarm to me, just to be honest. I'm just saying. But Bill is trying to come from a point of like, hey, I'm a liberal, I'm a Democrat, and I spoke truth to power, Donald Trump, and my own team attacked me. So now I want you guys to do the same thing. You know, go speak truth to Donald Trump and be okay with taking the heat from the Republican Party. Once again, it's a plan, but it's a plan from someone who has no idea how politics is working in 2025. And Brian does a so-so job explaining that.
To the point where an important weapon to have, but like you said it yourself, this is a shameless Republican Party. And so when you come out...
Shameless, but at least they hear it.
I mean, you know, I wrote a book whose title was Shameless. Like, that is the title of my book. And that came out last year. And so, like, I get it. And I think that that's actually their greatest weapon. And...
in a way, yes.
Because how do you shame the shameless? What tool do you have? What public pressure can you impose on somebody for whom shame doesn't exist anymore?
To get back to what we were saying a little while ago, and
exactly, how do you shame Republicans? I mean, Democrats done said everything, done everything they possibly can to a lot of these Republicans, and they don't care. Like, back then, like, when you would dog whistle and be racist, like, you would do that off camera. And if that came to light somehow, some way, you know, secret recording or whatever, that would end your career. But now it's like, they celebrate that. Look at some of the weirdos that's in Congress. Marjorie Taylor Greene, I forget the lady's name who's always beefing with Jasmine Crockett. I forget that weirdo's name. Like, they're getting popular off their racism. So how do you shame somebody who's using racism and bigotry and a whole bunch of other isms to get popular? How do you shame people? Yeah, Nancy Mace, yeah. How do you shame somebody like that? Oh, you're a racist. They don't care. Bill, they don't care. But no, Bill thinks he's going to somehow like change the world or something. Come on.
I never finished it. I guess one of us is stoned. But like I was saying, why Trump is different in public, and I was saying his father, you know, the way he was raised, he just has it in his head. And, you know, as a political animal, it's not completely wrong, that if you ever give an inch, if you ever show any weakness.
That's the Roy Cohen School of Management.
Right. If you ever apologize, say you were wrong about anything, it is interpreted by a certain percentage of the lizard brain as weakness.
Yeah.
And that's why in public, he never goes there. It's just always, you're an asshole and I'm right and I was never wrong and it was a perfect call. And like, there's just, I don't give an inch, but that's not who he actually is. That's what I found out. So the fact that I have more information than you, the fact that you would think that's bad, that I have more information.
No, I don't think it's bad that you have more information. I just think it doesn't count for anything.
Oh, it does.
If that's who he is in private, because nobody you don't get points.
I feel like
you don't get points for saying something. You don't get points for being self-aware in private. You get points for what you actually do on the world stage.
I'm not looking to score points.
Not you. I'm saying for him.
I'm looking to make the country better. And by the way, what happens in private is what always motivates him, I think, in public. Again, he doesn't do a lot of reading. It's a lot of, I was talking to people. People are saying, well, who are these people?
Yeah.
I would much rather there be people like me in his ear. I think there should be more people like me. And the thing is, I'm telling you, he will listen. That's also the thing about him.
I would rather have moderating forces there too, but I think that world is gone.
I mean,
what is Bill talking about? What is Bill really talking about? First off, you don't get points. Like Brian said, we're not going to give you a pat on the back because of how you act in privacy when the cameras is not on you. What kind of weird position is that? What kind of weird argument? I mean, if you really get to know the Donald Trump behind closed doors, no. Dummy, we talking about the Donald Trump that's on live television quoting Hitler, saying they are poisoning the blood of the country. If you're quoting Hitler, I'm sorry, I don't really care how you act behind closed doors. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'm sorry, that was probably weird. But what are you talking about? I tried to do like a New York Italian accent. Didn't go well. But I'm just saying, Bill, that's a dumb argument. Number one. Number two, you want to make sure that you're in Donald Trump's ear so you can try to persuade him or what? No, I'm sorry. Donald Trump surrounds him with like-minded people. People who are loyalists, who's going to listen to him. I mean, we haven't seen the past 10 years. He doesn't want people to tell him what to do. He wants to tell you what to do. Once again, it's like he has the political savvy, the political awareness of, someone who just figured out politics yesterday. Oh man, you gotta be in his ear, just kind of whisper to him the Donald Trump whisper, hey, don't be so racist. Hey, Donald Trump, don't be so hateful. No, dummy. He wants to tell you what to do. Why do you think he appointed all these sycophants in these key positions? Jesus Christ, man. It's like I gotta go over politics with this guy. Oh man. All right. Hey. Guys, how you doing? How you doing? I'm saying I can only take so much of someone like Bill Maher. I only can take so much. Jesus.
Let's see how you doing the pressure. I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Ain't no errors Really feeling rich like I'm Kesha. I get to the paper, boy. Extra, extra. Fuck with me, you know that I